Last session we looked at evil and that it's real. And now the Apostle John gives us a description of what happens when evil is rooted in a person's life. They become a slave to it. And we can become slaves to it as well. Yet there is another way. Thank God there's another way. But it has to do with being a slave. Now wait a minute. You're saying that the better way is to be a slave? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you know that there are several places in the New Testament where the terms Christian or disciple are interchangeable with slave? Yeah, that's right. We are to be God's slave. But our master is no ordinary one. He wants what's best for us. He loves us, and this master even died for us. This master protects us, and he's even promised us to give us his own inheritance. That's the kind of master that I want. That's the master that I need. It's the master that I have. It's the master you can have too. Revelation chapter 15 and 16 is a contrast between those who are slaves to God and those who are slaves to the world. The fact is that we are one or the other. And first in these chapters, we meet those who love Jesus with all their heart and they die for their faith. They are standing in the midst of God and they have been proven right. God indeed does reign, and they sing a great song of victory, praising God for His goodness and for His justice. Oh, how I look forward to joining them one day, to join in with them in that song. See, as they sing there that day, they are slaves and yet they are free. And the fact is that we are all a slave. There's no getting around it, so if we're going to be slaves, we might as well be with the winning side, right? With the side that desires the best for us. Unfortunately, along with the winners, well, there's some losers. In verse 5 and following in Revelation 15, it focuses on this very idea. We meet 7 angels who bring 7 plagues. The right amount of angels bringing the right amount of plagues. That's what the 7s mean. And over the last several weeks, we have read of these 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and now the 7 bowls. And what's interesting is that each of these 7 are similar, but it seems that God raises the dial of pressure with each one. Here in the midst of judgment, though, we see God's grace. He's giving people chance after chance after chance to turn to Him. Well, each of the 7 bowls bring pain and judgment on the world. And some of them, well, like the first one, they bring physical pain. The next 2 affect the environment of the earth we live in. And the 4th affects the celestial bodies in space. While the 5th is directed against evil itself, Satan himself. And then we read of the war. And then finally, the 7th seal, the final call, God says, "It is done." The hope that we have in victory is to know that one day it will be done. Like the saints giving God praise who had been persecuted and they had been killed for their faith, we too, one day, we will no longer have to deal with the discomfort of living in a world that is so opposed to God. One day, we will be able to stand before God, and God will tell us, He will say, "It is done." And we will sing praises to Him too, because indeed it is done, and we will be with Him forever.